Hello everyone, we got a special guest tonight, so let us introduce you. Can you please introduce our fans to your profile on YouTube?
Sure, of course. Hello everyone, my name is Andrea, better known online as OKAMI. You can find my channel on youtube.com/OKAMI. If you're a fan of unboxing videos, let's plays, you can check it out and I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it.
So, Andrea, what are, or OCG as we call it, what are your favorite countries? I heard you're a big fan of some.
Oh yes, definitely. My favorite has to be, of course, aside from my own, Japan and Russia. Those two are the best. Japan because I'm very impressed by their culture and they have interesting language and they're very hard-working and dedicated in their job. And as for Russia, well, they're kind of always like allies for us. They have a very rich history and they also have some of the best writers like Dostoevsky, and overall it is a very big country for respect.
How did you come to the idea to promote and start your YouTube channel so early on? What was the biggest part of the influence?
Well, ever since the earliest times on YouTube, I pretty much enjoyed watching all those channels doing let's plays for video games, doing some tutorials how to beat some level and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's just I always had an idea to do it myself, and when the time was right, when I had all the equipment to start my channel, I did it, and I have to say I'm very happy with the result how it turned out, despite the fact that right now there's a huge problem on YouTube regarding the new policies. I still think my channel is trying its best to hold strong, and of course earning a couple of bucks always helps all the effort put into making videos.
As well as you know, I'm pretty much interested in MMA, and you know, I'm a guy who writes about MMA professionally, you know, we will discuss about that, but you know what is the most interesting thing? When we were talking about Japan, there were not much UFC, MMA fighters and so on, but when it comes to you, you chose Japanese MMA fighters. What was the main sphere of influence? Why did you choose MMA from Japanese in the first place?
Well, I always loved Japan as a country, and ever since we worked together in earlier times regarding your past channel with Korean Walking Dead, there was a game that you always played, UFC Undisputed 3, and I enjoyed watching some of the fights you did, and pretty much I had an idea, like I once suggested, hey, can you do it with some Japanese fighter, and you did it, and that was pretty much what made me think, wow, this is a very good idea, like this looks really interesting in this game, and Japan as being one of my favorite countries. Of course, I developed a huge respect and love for Japanese MMA fighters.
Why have you chosen YUSHIN in the first place? As well as I know, you know, YUSHIN is a southpaw fighter, great fighter, I really enjoyed his fights. Okay, he's from Japan, but why have you developed such a big passion for him? We had a great time in our episode 3.
Oh yes, we definitely did. Well, as you know, he's a judo fighter and from Japan. Do you need any more answers? Like, come on, why would you ask him like that? Of course, he's from Japan. And that's all we gotta know about it. And besides him, I also love Takanori Gomi.
Okay, Takanori is a boxer and wrestler. He is everything but not a Japanese fighting style as well as you know. And you chose Takanori Gomi? Okay, we had a great show with him. But why Takanori Gomi, man? Boxing is an English martial art. Wrestling, it is not Japanese as well as you know.
Well, so what? He comes from Japan. And he also uses techniques from judo. And in the case you haven't noticed, it's similar to freestyle wrestling.
Oh, I guess you know everything, right? You were investigating those moves. I had to know, he's Japanese and you know better than me. This starts to go on my nerves, you know. Okay, when we're about that, you know that I write for MiddleEasy.com. So, what do you think about that website? You know, I was recruited 1 year ago. What do you think about MiddleEasy.com?
Well, first I would like to say congratulations for managing to be there, and for me this is one of the best websites I had a chance to read. They're highly professional, and I saw their level of communication when you worked there and when you ran out of internet. And I especially liked the idea and the way to impress the crowd. And I'm very thrilled by the idea that they recruited you. I think this was a great chance for them, that they haven't made a mistake for doing so.
Okay, how do you mean that? What is the part you most enjoy? I mean, you probably have a better explanation for that, I can bet about that.
Well, we know each other for a long time, and you always loved martial arts. They made the best choice possible recruiting you because of those factors about you. And I think that their team now has a great Bulgarian player as a part of their team.
Oh, thanks a lot. So, I guess you like my country, but we'll talk about this later. So, which is my best article according to you?
Well, the one that I like the most is when you destroyed CM Punk. When you wrote that he denied to fight a famous YouTuber, Logan Paul, I think that he was afraid of him. Like, I fully share your thoughts about it. You literally destroyed him there, and you're absolutely right. He doesn't even know how to punch. He's like a WWE clown after all. I'm very surprised with your progress in this news area because of it.
Oh, you're surprised? But why are you surprised with the development of my career? You know, you were the guy who was saying, you know, MMA. You are the one who told it, and now you are surprised? Okay, but why?
You never told me that you had a talent for news. But I know this is something you're good at, especially when you talk about martial arts. I haven't told you that.
You haven't, right? Okay, so what do you generally think about all my articles? Do you like it? Are they good, solid? I mean, you are an experienced man, you probably...
Well, I fully understand what you write, and you have a great flow, and you're very precise. Only downside is you write very little about Japanese fighters. Come on. They're the best MMA, and when you realize that, we need more Japanese articles.
Okay, we came about my articles. What is your favorite fighter? I mean, you already mentioned YUSHIN OKAMI.
Well, aside from YUSHIN OKAMI, it was Kid Yamamoto. I cried when he died. I was so devastated by it. He was a great fighter, great man from Japan, and only I can say, rest in peace.
Oh, I see you were devastated by his death. I mean, I was devastated too, you know. He was really good. He fought in lower weight divisions, but after a heavy battle with cancer, you know. I'm also sad for his death. NORIFUMI was a great man.
Indeed, he was. NORIFUMI was amazing, and Japan lost one of the best fighters ever. And to be honest, I still can't accept that he's gone. Like, damn, it's so unreal. Like, he was so young. He didn't deserve to go this soon. I'm very sad.
Yeah, I agree with that. He didn't have even 40 years, you know. It was very sad. Let me ask you one thing. I have one more controversial Japanese fighter. It's AOKI, you know, AOKI, the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist ever fought. Do you like him?
Oh yes, definitely. He's from Japan after all, so it's not a problem that he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's the way how he presents it. It's for me it is sort of unique because he is Japanese after all. So I think it wouldn't be the same if someone else does it and he does it, because being the fact that he is Japanese, it adds something to a technique.
Oh yeah, I agree, definitely adds a lot, you know, especially his hammer lock. He has so many wonderful submissions in his arsenal, and he even submitted one of the biggest names. That is why I agree with you. But I'd like to ask you one thing. When we're talking about UFC 229 or KHABIB Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor, so what are your thoughts of KHABIB versus Conor?
Well, we here have Russia and Ireland, so try to guess what I support here. It's Russia, of course.
Oh yeah.
And what's even more interesting about KHABIB, that despite the fact that he's from Russia, to be more precise, he's from a Russian Republic of Dagestan. And what's interesting about this region is he's not Slavic. He comes from a group of people who are called Avars, and they have their own culture, and they're not basically same like a typical Russian from Moscow or St. Petersburg, for example. And because of this, it's even more interesting, because I, as a person, I always like to explore new cultures, new people, and I think it's pretty great that he's from Dagestan, and it's definitely even more interesting because of that.
Conor trash talked Russia as well, as you know. He was trash talking KHABIB's country, family, many things. I mean, I don't even want to mention it. It was so shameful. So, what are your thoughts of these, let's say, bad acts from Conor McGregor?
Well, what I can say about it is that Conor trash talked Russia and tried to make everything turn into like some sort of a political thing. I mean, he didn't. That was, in my opinion, a very low of him, and he was so stupid for doing it. And in my opinion, he ultimately failed, because he only talked about some negative aspects of Russia, which he personally thinked, and in my opinion, most of them were like some sort of Western propaganda. Like, I found, I was exploring this online, and I seen that he also made such comments, like, for example, calling Putin dictator and stuff like that. And in my opinion, this isn't even a matter if somebody likes Putin or not, but I just think it's very ignorant to call it like that, because after all, Russia is a multi-party system country, and there is like a statistic on a Gallup International poll, and there you can see every country what they think about Russian politics, like for Putin, and what is the approval rate, and you can see that he relatively has a high approval rate in Russia and even some countries outside. So I think it's very rude from someone from Ireland to trash talk about Russia, and I just think he should give it a chance, like to see the good side of Russia, and it's a great country after all.
Alright, let's return now to UFC 194. Remember when ALDO and Conor McGregor fought? I mean, okay, Conor McGregor, it was a lucky punch, KO. This is what I think you will probably agree with me, but never mind. You know, in the preparation campaign, Conor McGregor trashed the whole country of Brazil. I don't think you look well on that, right?
Well, definitely not. I mean, I generally hate people who uses these opportunities to just trash someone's country. Like me myself, I can always put myself in this position if I was like someone who does martial arts, and if I had to fight anyone from any country, and if I had like a chance to speak live, I definitely wouldn't go and attack someone's country, no matter which country that is, for the one very specific reason, and that is out of respect for that person, because I like to judge a person individually, not just where he comes from. So unless he offends some country that I like, I have no reason to trash talk about his country. And Brazil, I always found it as a great country. Like, those people are very talented in sports. They also have good dances, and they're just very chill and good people. And it's not nice to talk bad about them. There's absolutely no reason for that.
All right, we reached so far. So, do you have an ultimate message for Conor McGregor?
Oh yes, I do. And actually, well, it can be called ultimate, but I'm not gonna be very harsh towards him, just to show him what he should not be like. I think you just gotta stop trying to rely on bad provocation, and you gotta educate yourself, man, a bit. Come on, I invite you to come, to visit Russia, to go there, to experience the culture, the people, stuff like that, and I'm sure you will at least a bit change your opinion. At least go there as a tourist. No need to have any political prejudice or opinion about it. Just go as a tourist and enjoy what the country has to offer, like on cultural level, and I'm pretty sure you will then change, because what you said it was very rude in my opinion, and you shouldn't do like that. Like, you're from Ireland, and that country, like it used to have some sort of a pride, but I think your country just lost pride recently, and they're too much like trying to be like UK, and in the movement like for in the past that it died out, and you gotta just imagine how would you feel if I like started talking bad about Ireland now. That's how you make me feel when you talk bad about Russia. So how about you stop that and go and try to experience the Russia on the correct way while traveling there.
So, we're talking about Japanese MMA still. About the next rising star, I've just got to say, listen, we had Hayato Sakurai, we have Shinji Aoki, we have Satoshi Ishii, we have many good Japanese fighters, but currently Japan is in transition phase. Yushin OKAMI is dropping, new rising stars appearing. You know, Japanese MMA martial arts are a bit, how to say, tight at the moment. So, what are your thoughts? Who could be the next rising star from Japan? I mean, there is probably someone who could be the best in the world. You know, Japan is the UFC champ, right?
Yes, and one thinking about it, well, as you said, Japan is currently in transition phase, so it is quite unsure who's gonna be, but I think, for example, Yoshihiro Akiyama, he is the man who signed one championship after all. I love him so much, man. There are also other classic fighters from Japan, but what's interesting about Yoshihiro, he's half Korean, and we all know that Korea is your favorite country.
Oh yeah, definitely. About Yoshihiro Akiyama, he does spinning back kick. He does even tries a spinning heel kick, man. You know, he has good kicks, which is very surprising for a Japanese fighter. You know, I've never seen a Japanese fighter who knows to use kicks so much. If we exclude kickboxers, Muay Thai specialists and so on, Yoshihiro Akiyama is really the man who rules about that, man. So, let me ask you one more thing. Do you even know who is maybe my favorite fighter, you know?
Well, we know that aside from Korea, there is another country that is number one for you. So, I'm gonna say Blagoy Ivanov.
Oh, the hell, you know everything about me, man. And about Bagate, you can see this? Yeah, you can see how it goes. About Bagate, yeah, it's Bulgarian flag. And of course, he is WSOF champion, and as well as you know, he was great, but Junior Dos Santos defeated him, you know, he outboxed him. You know, Blago Ivanov, he is a sambo fighter, he is a great fighter, but he is not a striker. GDS didn't let him get close and so on, but I think he will be the next UFC champion. You know, when he puts Junior Dos Santos to sleep or submit him, he has an open road, you know, Alistair over him, Francis Ngannou, maybe Daniel Cormier is a bit tougher, or Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic also has Balkanian roots, as well as you know, he has Croatian roots, but I can bet he can defeat everybody, you know, he is one of the best fighters ever seen. For me, Blago Ivanov, Bagate forever, you know, bratko.
Do you think he'll wreck the whole heavyweight division?
Oh man, I can bet he will, but you know, the toughest opinion. Derek Lewis, okay, he's a great striker, but you know, when he gets into a fight with submission specialist, it's someone who knows ground game very well, that would be a problem for him. But with a striker, you know, man, he just needs to learn. The only thing he needs to do is clinch up, take them down, and punch them out. That is the only thing he should do. You know, there is a reason why they call him Bagate in Bulgarian. This has a really good meaning. I don't want to talk about that, you know, because people will say I'm too much oriented towards Bulgaria. Okay? So, how could you even ask me, man, about Bulgarian men? You know, I like every Bulgarian fighter. Svetozar Savo, for example. You know, every Bulgarian fighter is good to me. But I like strikers. Ivanov, okay, but he's from Bulgaria, from Sofia, from the town I love. Alright, so I was just about to say thank you for taking part in our show. Thanks a lot for, you know, you said many great words about MiddleEasy.com. I'm pretty much happy for working for them. You're the one of the guys who believed in my talent, and I also believed in your talent about video games, but I'm surprised with your progress now, you're surprised with mine. I just hope we will continue to grow, and there will be more shows like this. Do you have some message for the fans, of course?
Well, I have a message, of course. If you also, aside from video games, if you like to follow these sort of stuff, you know who to follow for best articles, and I invite all of you to check out the website. The link will be in description, and I hope you enjoyed this video as well, and hope you all have a great time.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm very glad you took part in our show, and I hope we will continue to cooperate in the future. Thanks a lot, OCG.